aid. It's a picture of all the different summits. And here are my note cards. And now I'm going to introduce you to the audience. This is my brother, Patrick, my cousin Trey, my Aunt Terry, and my Grandma Joyce. And my mom is holding the camera. You're about 50 steps in. It's about mid-September, 67 degrees, a beautiful sunny day. You're walking up the mountain. You can feel the leaves crunching beneath your feet. You're in the middle of a good conversation with your friend. And all of a sudden, you look up and you've reached the summit. You have sweat dripping from your head, and you can feel your heart rate drumming. I say all of this to tell you about this one experience that I had hiking Humpback Rock a few weeks ago. That was actually my experience when I was hiking with my friends a couple weeks ago. I'm an avid hiker, and I try to go 1 or 2 times a month, depending on the time of the year, of course. Fall's my favorite. And I say all this to inform you of 3 different hikes that are on the Appalachian Trail. 3 hikes in Virginia that are on the Appalachian Trail are Old Rag, Devil's Marble Yard, and McAfee's Knob. Let us begin by starting to talk about Old Rag. This hike is in the Shenandoah National Park, and this is a picture of the summit, and it doesn't really do it justice because those rocks are actually the size of like a human. They're bigger than a human. But this is one of the pictures that I found on this hike. When I read in the book, The Blue Ridge Parkway, it says that this hike is about an 8.8 mile loop, and it can take anywhere from 7 to 8 hours depending on your pace and how many stops you take. From my personal experience, I know that you have to add 2 miles to this hike distance because you have to, when you park, you have to walk a mile to the base of the trail, and then once you come back down from the trail, of course, you have to walk back to your car. And so it makes it about 11 miles in distance, which can add, give or take, a couple hours. When I personally hiked it, I did it in about 6 hours and 30 minutes, which was like a personal best for me, and I was super excited about it. According to the 50 Hikes in Northern Virginia book, this summit is about 3,268 foot summit, which means you can look down and see that deep of a distance. And when I got to the top, I remember seeing that it was a beautiful 360-degree view. And when I was also reading in this book, 50 Hikes in Northern Virginia, it says that the majority of this hike is a rock scramble, and I'm not sure if you know, but a rock scramble is when basically you're not walking just on the normal hike, like on a normal path. You're going to be jumping from rock to rock and kind of squeezing in between rocks, and they're huge boulders that you basically essentially jump from rock to rock. It makes the climb so much more fun. And some cool facts about this hike is that when I read the book 50 Hikes in Northern Virginia, there's about a 40-foot boulder tunnel that you have to crawl through, and it is super tight. The staircase is, there's a staircase also on this hike that you climb through, and it's in a narrow cleft, and where the walls of the staircase are, there's actually a boulder that landed there, and you have to climb under it. It's crazy amazing. Also, when I read on the website, Hiking Upward, the hike runs into the Appalachian Trail about midway through, so you're not going to be on the Appalachian Trail throughout the full hike. It's just going to be on part of the hike. We're going to go on to talk about the second hike, Devil's Marble Yard, and it's located near Lynchburg, Virginia. And this is a picture of this, and this is not actually the summit. This is looking up to the summit, which is up here. And I put the human there just so you can see that it looks like little rocks, but like these are life-size huge rocks. And there's 2 different routes you can actually take when it comes to this hike. You can either go the longer route or the shorter route. The shorter route is going to be, according to Hiking Upward's website, 8.3 miles and can take anywhere from 5.5 to 6 hours. The longer route is going to add 3 miles for a total of 11.3 miles and would probably add anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half, depending on your breaks and your pace that you're keeping. When I read Exploring the Appalachian Trail, it stated that when you go on the longer version, the longer route to the summit is when you're actually going to hit the AT. You're not going to actually get to walk on any of the AT Appalachian Trail when you're doing the shorter version. Some cool facts that I found from personal experience about this hike for Devil's Marble Yard is you basically are walking into just a normal hike, and then all of a sudden it turns into like this huge marble field, and you get to like climb it. It was really cold when I did it, so my hands were freezing and I needed gloves. That was a fun fact. And when I read 50 Hikes in Southern Virginia, it states when the continents collided around 200 million years ago, the stone was forced up and it cracked into large boulders, which is how the actual marble yard was created, which is mind-blowing to me because when I got there I didn't understand quite how it happened. We're now going to talk about the third hike, which is McAfee's Knob, and this is located near Blacksburg, Virginia. And this is the picture of this summit, and it is a beautiful summit. This is actually the #1 hike on my personal bucket list of hikes, and I actually haven't gotten a chance to do this yet. When I read in the book Blue Ridge Parkway, this is about a 7-mile hike, and it can take anywhere from 3.5 to 4 hours to hiking it, of course, depending on your pace and your stopping and breaks and stuff like that. When I read also in that book, Blue Ridge Parkway, the elevation is about 1,750 feet. And per my friend's photos, you can see right here on this little rock, these people didn't do it, but in my friends, they actually sat on the edge and like let their feet dangle, and that's like my dream picture right there is what I really want one day when I get to go. And it's, from what I hear, it's the most photographed summit on the Appalachian Trail. Some cool facts about this hike is that when I read in the Blue Ridge Parkway, it's a good hike for a novice hike, so it's not too challenging. You don't have to push yourself too much. It actually hits the Appalachian Trail when it turns into the Fire Road. So a fire road, basically, there's a normal hike, and then sometimes in a hike you'll end up on like a dirt road, which is a safety trail, or the road for like emergency vehicles to get if there were like a fire or something like that. And so when you actually get on that road is when you're going to actually be touching the Appalachian Trail. And I'm actually planning on hiking that this weekend. I'm so excited. In conclusion, I hope that I have informed you of 3 hikes, Old Rag, Devil's Marble Yard, and McAfee's Knob, that all touch the Appalachian Trail. Now I want you to take a second and imagine that you're on top of the mountain, the breeze is blowing, you've walked to the stunning summit, and you see thousands of different trees. You see different birds, different animals. You can look down, you can see the road going through, and the cars, they look like the little Matchbox cars you played with when you were a child. And you look up, you see the 360-degree view, the sun is shining, and you've reached the Old Rag Summit. And you have now just walked on a piece of the Appalachian Trail.